是没有回来住了，也没有授权给他书，他就这样打。他是一个普通员工，我不知道。
Mr. Chairman, according to Mr. Yang, because he has been out of the country for a period now, maybe the person thought that he may not be coming back, and that's why
我已经半年没来住了。
So he thought that probably Mr. Yang will no longer be coming back. So maybe that's why he said, and then because he is an ordinary staff or employee, that's why he gave that response.
Okay, I think at least that's clear that is his place of residence. How long has he been staying in the Philippines?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the second question?
How long has he been staying in the Philippines? I'll remove my mask na nga. Sige. All right. How long?
我在菲律宾有22年了。
Mr. Chair, to answer your question, number one, yes, that is his place of residence. Number two, he has been in the Philippines for 22 years.
22 years. Okay. My next question is, when, how, and why did you become involved in with Pharmally?
给他这个是给他说这个公司我没有参与，我也不知道有这个公司。
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Yang said that he doesn't know and he has no relation to Pharmally.
I would like to remind Mr. Yang that he is under oath, Mr. Interpreter.
Yeah, 他说呢，他要提醒你，你在那个有
说我是看到新闻才知道这个Pharmally中这么多票。
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Yang is aware that he is under oath, and it is only through the news that he found out that of the existence of Pharmally Pharmaceutical.
So he maintains that he has nothing to do at all with Pharmally. Is that correct?
Senator Lacson, just one moment. I just want to call the attention of the official interpreter of the Blue Ribbon, Ms. Lingling Ponce. Ms. Lingling Ponce, please make sure that we are getting an accurate translation.
Yes.
Ms. Lingling Ponce, are you there?
Yeah, here.
Sorry?
Can you see me? My video is on. Yeah, here.
Okay. Are you giving us an accurate interpretation? Make sure that we're getting an accurate interpretation.
Sure.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, Ms.
There's a variance, tell us. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay.
You may answer, Mr. Yang.
所以你回答就是刚才的问题，说你到底有没有任何跟这个 Pharmally 制药公司有什么关系吗？
你跟他说，他这个说的太宽了。跟他说，他们这个Pharmally以前他们做这个生意，我不知道后面他来找我们后面他有来找我采购，我才帮他。我不知道他用这个公司，我只有他人来找我，我不知道他的公司。
Okay, Mr. Chairman, what Mr. Yang said is that initially he doesn't know of the existence or the whereabouts or anything about Pharmally Pharmaceutical. Later on, they did approach him for some assistance.
So it is not true that he has nothing to do or he had nothing to do with Pharmally.
Mr. Chairman, your question pertains to the corporation or on the operations? We just like to clarify on that part.
First, the corporation, Pharmally Pharmaceuticals.
就是你有关于这个公司的成立注册有关系吗？
没有，我没有。
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we'd like to clarify that in terms of the registration or setup of Pharmally Pharmaceutical, Mr. Yang has nothing to do with it.
That is correct. But does he have anything to do with the operations of Pharmally Pharmaceuticals at any point?
那关于他们的运营 你是否有插涉到吗？
没有，
In
因为我不知道，我没有。
Mr. Chairman, in terms of operations, Mr. Yang has not been involved or he has no idea.
你们两个电话里什么不知？
Does he know Wang Chuyan,
你认识黄
the
主
chairman
任
of
吗
Pharmally?
给他说17年，他跟他爸爸来见过我一次，后面我就没有见过了。
During the 2017, he met Mr. Huang Chuyen together with his father, and after that, they have no any communications.
Does he know a certain Lincoln Ong?
你认识一个 Lincoln?
认识，
Yes, he know Mr. Lincoln Ong, Mr. Chairman.
How did he know Mr. Lincoln
你怎
Ong?
么认识 Lincoln Ong?
他以前他们亲戚也跟我说，就是这样面试了。
Before, Mr. Yang knows the relative of Mr. Lincoln Ong. That's why he got to know him.
Did he have any business dealings with Mr. Lincoln Ong?
你有
Whether in
没
his
有
personal capacity or in his capacity as one of the incorporators of Pharmally Pharmaceuticals?
OK， 你有没有跟林立做过生意，特别是在这个 Pharmally 制药公司
没有，
？Mr. Chairman, no.
No business dealings with Mr. Lincoln Ong?
你有没有跟 Lincoln Ong 有任何？Mr. Chairman, can you just be more sorry? Can you just repeat the question?
Did he have any business dealings with Mr. Lincoln Ong, whether in his personal capacity or as a stockholder or incorporator of Pharmally Pharmaceuticals?
OK， 你有没有跟林立这个林肯任何的生意来往交易？就在这个 Pharmally Pharmaceutical 公司。
有。你是说交易是什么时候？是说什么时候？
Okay, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Yang would like to ask in terms of what specific period you were pertaining to.
In the supply of PPEs, medical supplies like face masks, shields, etc., etc., in relation to the transaction dealings of Pharmally with the PSDBM, to be more specific.
So, Mr. Chair, just to clarify, your question is if he has any dealing or anything to do with the transactions pertaining to PSDBM and Pharmally Pharmaceutical.
Yeah, PPEs,
For
supply of
PPEs,
PPEs,
supply of
surgical
PPE.
masks, face shields, face masks.
OK， 你在这个有没有跟那个预算部和 Pharmally 这边呢有没有任何关系？就是干涉到你提供材料像资料物料像这些口罩、面罩、防护衣。
你给他解释哦。对于方面力去竞标，我从来没有不知道，也没有参与过。你先给他解释。
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Yang would like to clarify to say that when Pharmally did get their contracts, he has nothing to do with any of those contracts or awards.
第二就是后面他们以前面做生意不知道，后面有一个 PP 林坤有来找跟我帮忙，我有给他介绍中国的朋友，给他们有这个资源，有这个能力也帮他们。
Okay.
我只有
Then
介绍
eventually, Mr. Lincoln did approach Mr. Yang, and then he helped Mr. Yang introduced friends to Mr. Lincoln who could help them with their supplies.
That is correct. That's the point I was trying to point out, Mr. Chairman, that Mr. Michael Yang was the one who acted as a go-between or middleman between Lincoln Ong or Pharmally Pharmaceuticals and the suppliers from China. Is that correct?
So, Mr. Chair, your question again, that Lincoln and
No. Mr. Michael Yang acted as a middleman
okay,你是周
between
中间人吗
Pharmally Pharmaceuticals through Mr. Lincoln Ong and the Chinese suppliers of the medical supplies in relation to the procurement
说他那个林立的那个 Pharmally 制药公司和这个供应商这些工厂的中间人嘛。
你跟他说，我就介绍他们自己讲。
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Yang said that he only introduced and let them discuss things on their own.
So that was his only role. He introduced the suppliers to Mr. Lincoln Ong, and then he had nothing to do with the supplies anymore.
所以你只有这个角色，就是介绍他们，然后就没有再
他
做。
们介绍中国朋友跟他们去自己买卖。
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, Mr. Yang said that he only introduced them and then they discuss things on their own.
And he stopped all his participation.
I'm sorry, come again, Mr.
And he
Chairman.
stopped all his participation in the dealings between the Chinese suppliers of the medical supplies that I mentioned and Mr. Lincoln Ong. He just left them on their own.
然后没有再参与吗？
不要说，我就介绍后面他们有我看到他们拿货自己去哪里买有的，我就不知道了，因为我不是，我只有给他介绍一部分。
Okay, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Yang said that he only introduced as to where or who they close their dealings. He's not he does not know who or where did he actually purchase those stocks.
And he never guaranteed
with
with his Chinese suppliers the credibility or the ability of Mr. Lincoln Ong to pay them.
你没有担保过？
没有，我只有给他们介绍朋友，他们自己去谈，可能朋友有帮他们奠基，还是帮他们出钱，我不知，他们去谈的。
所以你说你只有帮他们介绍？
对对，介绍。
然后呢？
就是你介绍他们，他们自己去谈去买嘛。
Okay, so Mr. Yang only introduced and then they negotiated on their own. And yeah, and then probably the first initially introduced friends introduced some other friends for them to negotiate all of their dealings.
Thank you for watching Politico TV. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more videos.